Hi, in this video, we will talk about critical. What drives a critical? Is it the critical stat? This one right here. Or is it the critical rate? This one right here. What does the critical rate even mean? We will test it out with Preston because he has a high critical stat and a high critical rate at 200%. And then we're gonna test it out as well with Sarah because she has a low critical stat here and a high critical rate at 200, same as Preston. And then lastly, we're gonna test it out with Desdemona because she has a low, well, in my test data later, I nerfed her down, I removed her attachment. So in that testing, you will see that she has a low critical and a lower critical rate at 150% compared to Preston and Sarah. For this test, I asked help from my friend and guildmate Gangsky in server 10, Seiya 10, where he made his lineup to show only Madison. I chose Madison because she doesn't have a skill that changes her def stats, and I also adjusted the combat power of my attackers to be close to that of Madison so that the test would be more realistic as how would you play it on a regular PvE or PvP. Okay, I will also, I will only show you how I got the data for those three attackers, but I will put the link in the description below for the raw video of the tests that I've done. In case, in case you want to see all the attacks that I've done to get the data that I will present later. Right, so let's start. Here's a test that I've done with Preston. Okay, so there his regular damage is 2200 from his normal attack. And there his critical is 5060, so 5060. I'm gonna skip this video so that we can move on to the next test. Now we're gonna look at Sarah. That one, that's her perk 3667. I will not use the perks in this test. I will only go after the normal or the regular attack damage because I don't think, well, at least for all the tests that I've done, I did not see a perk get a critical hit. So that's why I did not include the perk attacks in my data. Okay, so that's her damage with the debuff. So I'm not gonna use that one. I'm after the let's wait for the debuff to finish. Okay, that one. So her damage to Madison is 1666. So that's her normal attack damage. And her critical damage is of course we're gonna get the one without debuff. There you go. So her critical damage to Madison is 3333. Okay, let's now move on to the next one. Now we will look at Desdemona's test result. For her, it took more time for me to get test data for Desdemona because I had to because she can easily kill Madison, and I wanted to get as much test data that I can so that the percentage will be comparable when I compare it with Sarah and Preston. So let's see. So this is I had to pick one where I got the critical. So yeah, this is the first hit. So her critical damage is 8145 and her regular damage is 4525. So yeah, that's her. You see, she She used her perk here, so 8471. I did not use that data. And yeah, see, she can easily kill Madison. So I had to run multiple tests. I think it took me around 30 runs. But yeah, I got many data for her. I mean, data points for her. Let's look at the stats of our test subjects first. For Madison's def stats, dodge is at 52, defense at 665, and resistance at 441. Her total combat power is 9,727. Now we go to the stats of our attackers. Preston's damage is 2,336, crit is 3,503, hit rate at 500, and crit rate at 200%. His total combat power is 12,642. Now on to Sarah. Her damage is 1,287, crit is low at 472, hit rate at 1,260, and crit rate at 200% with a combat power of 11,808. Lastly, Desdemona's attack is 4,673, crit is low at 516, hit rate at 1,121, and crit rate at 150% with a combat power of 12,239. Now, here is the result of the attacks. Preston showed a high crit percentage at 29.21% by hitting 26 critical attacks from his 89 total normal attacks made. Sarah and Desdemona only got 3.70% and 1.80% respectively. Let's now look at the critical damage. I have here the data for their normal attack damage versus their critical hit damage. You can easily compute for the increase in damage by dividing the critical damage with the normal attack damage. So here are my conclusions. Number 1, the crit stat is the primary driver that dictates how often will a dweller get a critical. I don't have the exact formula for this, but it is clear from the result that the higher the crit, the higher the chance for you to land a critical attack. By the way, check the luck stat of your dweller. As stated in its description, each luck point provides extra critical hit depending on the dweller's level. You also want to see that Preston has 5 luck, which is high compared to one of my other attackers. The difference is significant that you may want to reconsider the attachments that you are using. If you are using those attachments that relies so much on crit, I think it's POG and CZG, Combat Zone Gladiator and Power of Good Neighbor, then you need to check how high is your character's crit equipped with that attachment. Maybe you are better off with other attack type attachment. So just revisit them and see if you are getting the benefit from your crits. And then number 2, for my conclusion, crit rate determines the multiplier that will be applied to your regular attack once you land a critical hit. However, it looks like there is something wrong with the stat stated in the game. Out of the 3 tests I've done, only Sarah have the same result compared to what was stated in her stat at 200%. Desdemona's stat says 150%, but her actual crit rate is at 180%. Preston's stat says 200%, but the actual crit rate based from the tests that I've done is at 230%. Those are my 2 conclusions based on the tests I've done. I hope that this answered some of your questions about critical. Let me know if you have other suggestions or if I missed anything. Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!